Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of whatever we're going to call this, garden updates. So I thought I would start by explaining perhaps what is going on back here and what maybe more so like the history of what we've done back here. So a year or so ago I decided that I wanted to turn our backyard into a big flower bed. It was just a traditional boring backyard. It was all grass. We had a couple trees. We had a crepe myrtle. We had a Japanese maple. We had a couple of knockout roses, and that's really pretty much it. And I started to get into plants, and I started to realize we weren't really using the backyard for anything. So I might as well turn it into a flower bed. So I started to do some research about how to do that. And what we did was we bought really thick, expensive black plastic, and we covered the entire area that I wanted to turn into a flower bed with this plastic, and we tacked it down with landscape staples, and we left it. We left it all summer. I'm trying to remember exactly how long we left it. I feel like we left it definitely over the course of the summer, because the purpose of it was to basically bake the grass. In theory, we were killing the grass and killing all of the weeds underneath it, because we wanted to turn the grassy area into a flower bed. So it was a good chunk of time that we did that. At least, I'd say at least 6 months or so. And then we came out here in the fall. Actually, maybe it was more like 4 months. I don't remember exactly how long. I can look it up and maybe I'll add a comment or something. But we bought a little electric tiller, a handheld tiller. And then Michael came out here and we tilled up this entire area after the grass had been killed. So we went through and we broke up the soil in this entire area here and turned it all into soil that was able to be planted in, because in this area of the country we have solid clay soil that is not ideal for planting majority of flowers and plants, because it retains a lot of moisture. It doesn't allow roots to spread very easily, and generally speaking it's not the best soil for majority of plants. So the best option is to sort of start from scratch and try to build your own soil. So that's what we did. So we chopped it all up, mixed up the dead grass and stuff, and then all of the initial plants that I put in, I mixed compost in that I had already prepared here at home, and I'll probably do a separate video about that. So in theory we're trying to sort of like build our own soil. So we've been doing that, and so that's what we have now. So we've been working on this over the course of maybe 9 months or so. So almost pretty much every plant that you see in here, with the exception of this Japanese maple back here, which I'm almost certain is dead, and this crepe myrtle tree right there, the 2 roses right there, and then there's another one in the corner there, and one right there. Everything else that you see in this garden is all new, that I have bought pretty much only on sale. So what I've done is I bought things, I went to Lowe's a lot, and at Lowe's they put things on sale that have any amount of damage to the leaves. So you can get like really good plants that are on sale. I'm sorry, there's pollen everywhere. So literally pretty much everything I got on sale. All of the bulbs that I have planted I bought online that were on sale. Let's see. I have seed mats. That's the white that you see throughout the garden in random places. So what that is biodegradable fabric that has seeds that have been, like, I don't know the right word, they've been like put in it or whatever, and then you get the fabric wet, and then the seeds go into the soil. So there I have like 5 different types, and I laid those out a few weeks ago, and I've been coming out here and watering them periodically, and we already have sprouts on a few of them. They're primarily annual seeds, meaning they will produce flowers this year, and probably won't come back, but there are some perennial seeds in there. And then I also bought, I went to Walmart and bought seed packets of a lot of different types of seeds, and I just scattered them randomly throughout the whole garden, in an attempt to just kind of see what grows. So we're sort of in like an experimentation phase in the garden right now. I'm learning about the soil, I'm learning about the light, you know, what areas get light during what times of the day. We're learning about the water. So I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of money because plants can get very expensive. I wanted to just kind of see what happens, you know. So like I said, everything I got on sale, and I'm really proud of that, and I still continue to do that, although I did go to the store the other day and buy a bunch of stuff that wasn't on sale, but that was kind of a rarity. So I might do a separate video where I show you all the individual plants, but so that's the basic story of the garden. This black plastic, excuse me, that you hear me walking on is sort of like, I want to eventually put in a walkway. So this is our makeshift walkway for the time being. So it gives us some place to walk on, and reminds us where the walkway will eventually go, and tells us, like, you know, don't plant stuff here. Let's see. So this is the main flower bed, obviously, this big area, and it's kind of like an L, I suppose you could say. Like, it goes this way into the back area over here that's a little bit more shaded. And then the entrance to the flower bed is right here. This is the house, obviously, and this is the living room. So the entrance is right here. We have 2 plants right here that are vining plants, I guess you could say. There's a climbing rose here and Carolina jessamine, which I need to water. Poor thing is wilting. Slash, I also jostled him the other day, so he's not happy with me. But this is the state flower of South Carolina, and this is a flower that, if some of you have seen my flower tattoo that I have, the big one, at the top of my tattoo is this flower. But anyways, eventually we're going to put an arbor in that will just like be an arch right here for those plants to grow on and be an entryway into the garden. But so another thing we did last year, we were having a big problem in the front yard, which maybe I'll do another video about that, but also back here with weeds and grass. So we hired some dudes to come out and install landscape fabric in this area in that back corner. So they basically created a flower bed here for me. They put in this edging, and they obviously did not do a very good job. They didn't do a very good job in general, honestly, but they should have like dug a trench here and put this in, but they didn't. They just kind of laid it. So I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with that. Something. But underneath here is, you know, we have a really thick layer of mulch they did bring in. And underneath all of that, maybe it's more like up here, is landscape fabric. So I think you can see that. Yeah. So we have landscape fabric in 3 areas: in the front yard, right here, and in the back. So that does play in when I decide what plants to put here. Obviously I can't put any seeds here because they won't grow. I'm sorry, my nose is a mess from this pollen. I have to, you know, strategically plan what plants I go here. I have to cut the fabric and place them, etc. So this bed is pretty barren. I got to put more stuff in here, but So we have a big flower bed right here. And then randomly one day I decided I was just going to buy some stuff. And then I started putting stuff in the ground back here. So I don't know what we're going to do about the grass that grows through here. Because I decided to put plants in the ground over here. And this plant right here is probably one of my favorites that I have right now. It's called a spirea. And it's just so pretty. The leaves remind me of ferns. Can't really grow ferns here, and generally speaking, because it's so stinking hot, and ferns like a lot of shade, and I don't really have a lot of shade in my garden, but the foliage reminds me of ferns. When it was cooler out, maybe you can kind of see that, the new growth is a little more yellowy orange, and eventually they're supposed to have flowers, and they're going to get pretty big. I have 2 of them, and these are, again, another one I got on sale. And I have a couple of these golden cypress dudes that are supposed to get really big. So anyways, I'll do another garden tour at some point. But we have a flower bed back here. This was part of the house when we bought it, as were these knockout roses. Anyone who is looking for an easy rose that you can buy at any big box store in the country, look for the knockout roses. You can pretty much always find, they're going to be labeled, they're usually labeled double pink knockout roses. The ones you're going to find most often, which are these. They are so stinking easy. They don't really get diseases as much as most roses. I need to spray mine. They do have some bug damage, but all you have to do is once a year, in January, February, trim them almost to the ground. They put out new growth, and as you can see, it's covered in buds. I already have a rose. We have buds everywhere. It's hard to see because it's in the shade right now. But anyways, I will do a tour of the actual plants at some point. So this is just an overview. So I figured before we go too in depth with, more information, I would tell you all the story of the garden, I suppose. And so what we're going to be doing here within the next week or so, actually, because it's starting to warm up here. It's mid-60s now, and plants need water, and I am lazy. I'm getting better with my laziness than I ever have been in my life, but I am still lazy, and there is no way I can consistently keep a garden watered. So when I decided to do this, Michael knew that part of this was going to entail installing a drip irrigation system. We have one in the front, so we are going to be installing one of those in the back within the next few days. So that's going to be a thing. We already have a trench dug right here. He's going to try to put the majority of it underground. So that's going to be a whole process. We'll probably do a video about that. I might do a video about how I compost, which is all over here. Eventually we're going to put edging in, which is going to be such a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it, but I have to. As you can see, we have grass. It's not the healthiest grass, but it is there. And if I don't put some kind of a barrier between my flower bed and my grass, I'm going to have grass in my flower beds, as you can already see is happening. So we have this thick plastic expensive ass edging that we bought a while ago, and we have attempted to install it ourselves twice, 2 different methods. We rented a trencher from Home Depot several months ago, and that thing was very difficult to use, and basically impossible. And then we got a couple different hand tools, and we tried to do it that way, and that was also impossible. So Michael seems to think he's found some other kind of tool that we can use, and we're going to try to do it that way. And if that doesn't work, I guess we're going to have to hire somebody. But so basically we're going to have to dig a trench, stick this in the ground, and use it to put up a physical barrier between the grass and my flower bed. Because without it, we're going to get grass in the flower bed. know, it's always going to be a battle with weeds, and that's fine. Eventually after this season, after, you know, we use these seeds like I did, I'm going to probably mulch. But I can't really do that this year because I have all these seeds. Anyways, I need to get better about rain.